Okay. It is November 14th, and today is our last day for this little unit we've been doing. Everything we've done last Friday with the worksheet when I wasn't here, last Friday and Tuesday and Wednesday and today, super duper important, okay? And I told you yesterday and Tuesday that you needed to get those homework assignments finished. Today is as well. You need to do it completely and make sure you know how to do that well. This is essential Algebra 2 right now. Knowing how to take a graph, take a polynomial, find a zero, use synthetic division, and solve for x is like all of Algebra 2, okay? Most important thing. And so today we're doing the very similar thing, but today, the last 2 days, they've given you the zeros. They've given you some extra information. Today, they're not going to give you that information, and so this is why you're required to have a graphing calculator. Okay, so you need your calculators out. And you need to know how to work those. If you do not have a graphing calculator, then today only you get to use your cell phone, and go. And yes, that means go now and get your phone and open up a web browser and go to Desmos.com. If you have a graphing calculator, then it's really easy. So you're going to go to whatever Chrome or Internet Explorer, Safari, and open up your web browser. If you have your graphing calculator, then that's fine. But you should know today is the last day that I'm teaching. Tomorrow is a review, and you guys have a test on Monday. All right, so you will have a test on Monday, test on Monday, test on Monday. Okay. I will not let you use your notes. I will, however, let you use your review. So you need to make sure that you do the entire review in its entirety and show all your work so that you can do a similar thing on your test. Okay, so know that tomorrow you should work very hard at completing your review. And just writing answers isn't going to help you at all. Okay, so doing all the work in its entirety is going to be essential. All right, so hopefully you're all at Desmos.com. There's a red button that says Start Graphing. You want to go to Desmos.com and then hit the Start Graphing button. And then we're going to do some math. So here we go. Example 1, find all the real zeros of the function and sketch a little graph. Find all the real zeros of the function and sketch a little graph. All of your problems today, you will need to sketch a little graph, okay? A real simple sketch. I'll show you in just a minute. Right now you're writing down f of x equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus 11x minus 12. And then we're going to go to our calculators or Desmos.com and you're going to type in that equation. In Desmos, you do not have to write the y equals, so you can just start with the x cubed. And on Desmos.com, you'll see the a to a power of b button. That's how you get your exponent, the a to a power of b. Here on our calculators, we can type in our x, and the caret, which is right here, this little arrow up thing, that's how you get your power of 3. So on my, there we go, plus 2x squared minus 11x minus 12. Let me know if you have any issues. So you're typing it in right now, whatever program you're using. Then you're going to press graph or draw. X is there. Here. 3. Arrow over. Alright, and if you've got your graph calculator, go ahead and hit graph. Or draw on the Casio. And you should see a little sketch of a polynomial. The A to the B button is your power. So that's A to the B, yeah. And then that makes it anything. Okay, so you're going to quit and you're going to do Zoom standard. Zoom press. Oh, press number 2. Oh, that's still not right. Try again. Put in again. All right, just making sure you all have the graph there. Are you all? Is anyone not there? Let me know. All right. Okay. So you've got your little graph, and you gotta go to y equals. There's your x. Here, 3. Arrow over. Now keep 2 on the right. Plus 2x squared. Yes, you must press the buttons. 2x. Squared. Squared there. Okay. Minus 11x. Keep going. Yeah. Okay. All right. So once you get your polynomial, they did not give us any zeros to get started with synthetic division. So we have a little sketch, and I'm just going to do a real easy little sketch. There's my polynomial. All right, that's it. That's the sketch. It's a very rough sketch. And what we need is we need to take that polynomial and we need to figure out a zero, a solution, so that we can use synthetic division. Where do the solutions, where do the zeros come from? From where it intersects the x-axis. Yes, because zeros are the same as x-intercepts. So when we look at a sketch, we want those x-intercepts. How many x-intercepts do we have here? 3. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 choices of zeros. Look at your calculators. Pick one. What number can we use as one of those zeros? -4? -1? 3? Yes. We have 3 choices. You can pick any one of those x-intercepts. Any one of them. We're going to go ahead and let's use, I don't know, let's use 3. Your job is to type in your polynomial into your calculator, make a quick sketch, and pick one. Pick an x-intercept, and now we're going to use that x-intercept in synthetic division. It's not straight. I can't handle it. Okay. There we go. Okay. So what goes along the top for synthetic division? 1, then 2, and -11, and -12. Raise your hand, ladies and gentlemen, if you understand synthetic division. You know that process now. It's good? It's good? It's good. All right. So we're doing it again. Synthetic division. Bring down the 1. Then what do? Multiply. 1 times 3? 3. Combine. 5. Multiply. 5 and 3? 15. Combine. 4. Multiply. 12. Remainder? 0. Ladies and gentlemen, if you use a 0, then your remainder should always be 0. If you didn't get 0, it didn't work. You made a mistake. Or you chose a bad intercept. Okay? Now what we need to do is actually find all the real zeros. We found 1 just now. This is my quotient. 154 doesn't have any meaning. What is it as a polynomial? What does it transform back into? 1x squared plus 5x plus 4. And if we want to find the real zeros, that means it must be equal to 0, and then we factor and solve. Ladies and gentlemen, every single time today, your job is to graph your polynomial, pick a 0, use synthetic division, factor, and solve every single time, okay? So we want to go ahead and factor this quadratic here. What times what is x squared? X times x is x squared. Last times last has to be positive 4. What times what is positive 4? Positive 4 times positive 1. Was that the only option? No, we could have used 2 times 2. Why did we choose 4 times 1? Yeah, because the rainbow, ladies and gentlemen. Not because 4 and 1 makes 5. Yes, that's a shortcut. But the real meaning comes from the rainbow. X times 1 is 1x. 4 times x is 4x. When we combine those, that's where that sneaky middle term comes from. The rainbow, ladies and gentlemen. You must check the rainbow. Now, these are the factors. How do we actually find the zeros? You set them equal to 0. You set each bubble equal to 0. And if I set x plus 4 equal to 0, then I can solve for x. So when we're actually finding these, we're actually solving for x. How do I get x by itself? Subtract 4. All right, so we get x equals negative 4. And over here, we're going to subtract 1, and we get x equals negative 1. So ladies and gentlemen, what are all the real zeros? We found the first one, 3. What else? Negative 4 and negative 1. All the real zeros. Now the connection to the graph. What was this point? On our graph. What's that point there? Negative 1. What's that point? Negative 4. Should they match? Yes. Okay. So when we solve for x, we should see those points reflected back in the graph.
So, how many points? So, can we just use the numbers that we have?
Yes, you could.
Or is that just?
That's the cheater's method. The cheater's method is to say, hey, the zeros are 3, negative 1, and 4. We knew that right away.
So you can just solve it and then solve it.
Yes.
That's just checking.
That's just checking your work. Yes. So we know the zeros right off the bat. But what I need to see from you is the algebra to back it up. Okay? So, yes, every single time you're going to be able to see the zeros. You're going to do synthetic division and factor and solve. And double check that that makes the same thing. Okay?
And I can use any one of those.
Any one of these with division would work. Lots of different ways. So let's try one more here, ladies and gentlemen. I had to change this problem. This is the benefit of being this take 2. That I learned from period 2 that didn't go as well as I hoped. F of x equals 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 14x plus 8. What do you need to do first? Graph it in your graphing calculator. Yes. Go to your graphing calculator and type that sucker in. 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 14x plus 8. Do it now. When you graph your function, you're going to draw a little sketch. A real fast, simple sketch. You're going to make that sketch. Carrot. arrow over. What's wrong? I don't. I know you're out of news almost. You need to plug it in.
So we get this.
It'll still work, yeah. Sometimes, yes, there will be some fractional answers. So you'll have to, you won't use those for the x-intercepts here when we do synthetic division. Choose the ones that cross nicely.
But I still have to work.
Yeah. All right, so I'm graphing this, making a little bitty sketch here. All right, and it looks like sometimes they cross nicely and sometimes they don't cross nicely, right? So when we look here, that one, I don't know what that is. That would be a fraction, a decimal, something not nice. So I want to use something that is nice, something that crosses on a sort of tick mark. So what could we use maybe? 4 would work, or -2, either one. Let's try the 4. And again, you could use either one, the 4 or the -2. I don't know what that is, but we're going to write what goes along the top. 2, then -5, -14, +8.
I was just like, you just said it out loud. Like I was thinking.
All right. And then we're going to do some synthetic division. What do we do first? Bring the 2 down. I know you're madly working ahead of me because that's what you should be doing. All your heads are down. You're working through the problem. That's awesome. All right. 2 times 4 is 8. Then we combine. -5 and 8 gives me 3. Good. And then we multiply. 3 times 4, 12. Combine, we get -2. And then again, multiply. To -2 times 4 is -8. And we get a remainder of 0. It should always be a remainder of 0. If you didn't get 0, you made a mistake. Or you chose a bad 0, a bad x-intercept. All right. Now to find the rest of the zeros, I need to convert the 2, 3, -2 back into a polynomial. What's its related polynomial? 2 x squared, then plus 3x, and then -2. And we want to find the zeros, and in order to do that, we must be equal to 0. And then we are going to factor. Now, this one's a little bit harder. Why is it a little more difficult? Because it's got 2 in front. Okay? The process is the same. First times first gives me the first thing. What times what gives me 2x squared? 2x times x. And then last times last has to give me the last thing. What times what is -2? -2 times 1 or -1 times 2. And we can change the order of those things as well. So I'm going to go ahead and try, what did I say? -2 and a +1. How do I know if I did it right? Check the rainbow. If you haven't learned anything in this class, I hope you learned check the rainbow. 2x times 1 is 2x. And then -2 times x is -2x. Did I do it right? No, I did not. Because that makes 0 and I'm looking for a 3. So what should I do? Let's see. So -1, -1, and a +2. Let's try that now. Change them around. Now, 2x times 2 gives me 4x. And -1 times x gives me -1x. Now we got a winner. All right. So the order matters, ladies and gentlemen. You absolutely need to check the rainbow. Now, how do we solve for x? Set each bubble equal to 0. And you can shortcut this totally if you want to. How do I solve for x with my first little bubble? What should I do? add 1. So I get 2x equals 1, and then divide by 2. Divide by 2, we get x equals 1/2. That makes sense with this one here. It was right in between 0 and 1. Over here, we would subtract 2. We get x equals -2, and that is exactly what we thought at the beginning. So all the real zeros are 4, 1/2, and -2. Ladies and gentlemen, for every single problem today, you have your polynomial, you make a sketch, you do some synthetic division, and you factor and solve. Every single time, you need to be very good at factor and solving. Okay? Sketch, synthetic, factor, solve. Got it? All right. You may begin.